Have you ever considered the concept of sin beyond the individual, beyond the personal actions and into the realm of systems? Let's delve into this a bit. When we talk about sin, we often think about it in relation to harming others, a violation of the two greatest commandments, if you will, loving God and loving one's neighbor. Now imagine a scenario where harm is caused, but there's no identifiable perpetrator. Who's to blame then? Is it still a sin? It's like a puzzle, isn't it? Here's a thought. What if the culprit is not a person but a system, a complex network of interlinked actions and reactions which collectively results in harm? We often focus on individual actions, but rarely do we consider the systemic factors that may contribute to harm. It's time we question this perspective. What if we started thinking about sin not just as individual actions, but also as systemic issues that cause harm? When we talk about harm, we often focus on the harm caused by individual actions. But what about the harm caused by systemic issues? Picture this, a single drop of water versus a torrential downpour. The drop symbolizes an individual action. It's visible, tangible, and easy to understand. But the downpour, that's our systemic issue. It's overwhelming, pervasive, and not as easily manageable. Take, for example, the issue of poverty. An individual might steal bread due to hunger, an action that causes harm, but isn't the true culprit the systemic issue of wealth inequality that led to the individual's hunger in the first place? Now let's consider pollution. An individual might litter, but isn't the larger issue the system that produces excessive waste without proper disposal mechanisms? This isn't to say that individual actions don't matter, they absolutely do. But if we focus solely on the drops, we might miss the downpour. The idea here is that by addressing the systemic issues, by tackling the downpour, we could potentially have a greater impact on reducing harm. We could not only stop individuals from stealing bread, but also ensure that no one goes hungry in the first place. We could not only prevent littering, but also reduce the amount of waste produced. So we find ourselves faced with a question, the answer to which could shape the course of our collective future. Could a shift towards addressing harmful systems be a more effective way to reduce overall harm? So, where does this leave us in our understanding of sin and harm? We've explored the intricate layers of sin, not just as personal transgressions, but also as a product of complex systems. We've seen how individual actions can indeed cause harm, yet we've also recognized the profound impact of systemic issues. It seems that a shift in focus towards rectifying these harmful systems could potentially have greater impact in reducing overall harm. Perhaps it's time we start looking at the bigger picture when it comes to sin and harm. After all, the world is much larger than just the individual.